Nebraska is on the precipice of landing a talented 2026 quarterback. But the big question around that is who and when. So in today's massive recruiting update, I'm going to answer both of those questions, and I'll go over every single quarterback the Huskers are after and where they stand with Nebraska and Matt Rhule. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about today. If you are excited about the future of Nebraska recruiting, I know I am. Hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or just a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content. Nobody else on Husker YouTube is doing this. So if you're a diehard fan of this program, please subscribe. You will not regret it. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about Nebraska recruiting, specifically the quarterbacks in the class of 2026. So I talked about ad nauseum how important that recruiting weekend was versus Colorado. We saw Dawson Merritt make the trip, Michael Terry, Jackson Cantwell, among a bunch of other 4- and 5-star prospects. But most notably, 4-star Michael Clayton was there. So I talked about him a month ago in a video saying he was visiting for this game, and you all should know his name because if he has a good visit, I wouldn't be shocked if he committed. Well, turns out that video predicted the future because he loved his visit to Lincoln versus Colorado, so much so that a couple hours after the game was over, crystal balls started flying in from On3, 24/7, and Rivals for him to commit to Nebraska. So the Huskers are getting very close to landing 4-star quarterback Michael Clayton. Now, what is he as a player? If you're not informed about him, again, coming out of Orlando, Florida, has offers from Miami, Ole Miss, Auburn, and a couple other SEC schools. But watching him on film, really good arm strength, really mobile. I wouldn't necessarily call him dual threat, but he's very similar to Raiola, where he'll get outside the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and make a play. So again, very similar to Raiola in that aspect, but really accurate. And again, one of the better quarterbacks in all of America. And talking about Nebraska, why he loves Lincoln. Well, first off, he really likes Matt Rhule. He believes that he's bringing the Huskers back. And that's a common theme you hear from a lot of guys. Michael Terry said the exact same thing. Dawson Merritt said the exact same thing. So Michael Clayton really believes in Matt Rhule, and he also believes in Matt Rhule's development. He said, hey, if Dayton Raiola is going to put his trust in this coaching staff, so am I. So Michael Clayton, very close to committing. He has no other visits lined up for any other school, so I wouldn't be surprised if he made it official very, very soon. Again, he has the green light by all accounts to commit to the Cornhuskers, so watch out for Michael Clayton. And I'll tell you this, the most important recruit that you can get in a recruiting class is a quarterback, especially early on, because they're going to peer recruit. They're going to get other guys. Michael Clayton comes out of Florida. He knows a bunch of other talented wide receivers, talented running backs. So the sooner you can get him in this class and the sooner you can get him to peer recruit, that will be big for Nebraska going forward. So Michael Clayton, something to follow there, because from all accounts, it looks like he will make it official very soon. But we have to have a conversation about some of the other quarterbacks Nebraska is after in the class of 26. Specifically, Dayton Raiola. So for the longest time, Nebraska fans have basically penciled in Dayton Raiola. Oh, we're going to land him in 26, no question about it. But I've been trying to tell you guys, and I told you guys this summer, the coaching staff is not sure whether or not Dayton Raiola is good enough to be offered a full-ride scholarship. That is basically what's going on, what's holding up the staff. Because I truly believe if Dayton Raiola had a committal offer, he would already be committed. So in terms, for you guys to just rephrase all this, Dayton Raiola has an offer, which means Nebraska is interested in him. He just doesn't have a committable offer, which means he doesn't have the green light just yet. Now, Dayton Raiola has been starting for Buford so far. I've been watching most of every single game. I thought he's been all right. He threw for 600 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So the thing about Dayton, beautiful deep ball, just as good as his brother, pretty accurate, but he struggles with being consistent, especially in those mid-range throws, outside the numbers. He really struggles with that accuracy sometimes, and that comes up in the interceptions. But I will say this, whether or not he's good enough to get a committable offer, I don't think it matters. He'll end up in Nebraska one way or another. Now, you can just see with what's going on with his family, for example. I mean, Dom and his mother moved to Lincoln. His sister, Taylor, works for the Nebraska athletic department. So it looks like he's in the bag for Nebraska. And when I was talking to Dawson Merritt, and I've heard this from other recruits too, they say that Dayton is constantly texting them, trying to get them to Nebraska. So he's peer recruiting already. It's just whether or not he gets a full scholarship. I think more likely than not, if he doesn't get a full scholarship, it'll be basically an NIL position, or he'll just come as a walk-on. We'll see. He'll end up at Nebraska. I'm pretty confident in it. It's just whether or not the staff gives him that committable offer, because I guarantee you that is what's going on with this situation. But I've been impressed. I'm happy that he's starting at Buford. I was concerned he wasn't going to start. He's starting, and hopefully he plays pretty well. So watch out in that Dayton Raiola situation. But it looks like Michael Clayton will be the guy in this class. Dayton will probably come along too. There's a couple other guys I want to talk about who are quarterbacks in this class. We had a West Virginia quarterback commit visit versus Colorado. Probably will stay with West Virginia, but it should be noted that he visited. Jackson Taylor is a 4-star out of California who visited during the summer. Really, really talented prospect. Nebraska's been trying to get him to visit once again this fall. So again, Nebraska once again still recruiting him. I think it's just a matter of, with all of these quarterbacks, who commits first. Who commits first for the Huskers? Because they're all talented. They're all pretty much 4-star prospects. Who decides to make it official first? We will see. But again, Jackson Taylor, they're trying to recruit. Oscar Rios, who's currently committed to Purdue. Nebraska's trying to flip. So they're aggressive right now. But just get the best quarterback. That's what I'm asking. Get the best quarterback. And this brings me to my last point. Getting 4-star quarterbacks, that's fine. Yeah, we've got 4-star quarterbacks in the past. Adrian was a 4-star. Luke McCaffrey was a 4-star. Heinrich Haarberg, people forget, was a 4-star according to most recruiting sites. Okay, and I think 4-star quarterbacks can be very successful, but it's evident now with Dayton Raiola that if we want to be a top-notch program, we need to start getting 5-star quarterbacks more consistently. Like, let's start ponying up, put some money down. And I'm not saying Michael Clayton's not good enough. I'm not saying I'm mad about that, because I think Michael Clayton's a good quarterback, and I think, Dayton Raiola could be a good quarterback. Not hating on either of those guys. I love both those guys. So let's set the record straight. But I also think that it's pretty clear that a 5-star quarterback, a 5-star blue chip, changes everything for a program. So if I'm Nebraska, I'm trying to be really aggressive in this market, try to flip some guys. And we wouldn't have even got Dylan if it weren't for him being a legacy. So listen, I'm fine with these quarterbacks, but Matt Rhule needs to start locking in and getting some more 5-stars to Nebraska. Do whatever it takes. And the one way you can do that, win football games and win them consistently. If we win 8 or 9 games this year, we will be in the bag. So wanted to give you guys an update around what's going on in the quarterback recruiting class. And talking about Dayton again, I know I'm going to get comments. Why are you hating on Dayton? Not hating on Dayton. I love Dayton. I really do. I'm rooting for this kid. I think he's a stud. He grew up to be a bigger fan of Nebraska than Dylan was. So I really believe in loyalty. I want him to end up at Nebraska, but I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you how it is. But I guarantee you that's the situation. I know, actually, you know what? I don't guarantee. I know for a fact that's the situation. That Nebraska has not offered him a committable offer yet. We'll see what happens there. But Michael Clayton, guys, might commit soon. All right, guys, let me know. What do you think about this recruiting update for Nebraska? Who do you want to commit at that quarterback spot in the class of 2026? And hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go be great, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.